Isn't it great whenever it's the NBA offseason that catches more attention than the NBA Finals? Honestly, just under 24 hours before the NBA Finals even started, even clocked in, that we were rounded about around 8 p.m. Of course, Victor Wembanyama, congratulations for getting drafted, and the other 60 other athletes, well deservingly so. A lot of G leaguers, a lot of young G leaders that possibly wanted to try to adjust over in the developmental system before adjusting. And most of those guys already have a good suitable pay grade before even starting around the NBA level, but they were still treated like primary like assets, like Scoot Henderson that was from the Ignite team before he got drafted over to the Portland Trailblazers at the number 3 selection. And that was a bit of a dicey spot. But let's go over the trades that happened beforehand. So, Kristaps Porzingis is now a Boston Celtic. $36 million contract, adjusted with a first round 2024 pick, and Marcus Cesar in a 3-way trade for Tyus Jones, Mike Muscala, Dario Gallinari, all useless rotational players, over Tyus Jones, that's a 6-man on the Memphis Grizzlies, for a $14 million contract. Good save for the Grizzlies. They get a veteran 6-man starting point guard that's also Defensive Player of the Year from just 2 seasons ago. Next to Jaren Jackson Jr., I guess, to complement defensively. After the loss of John Morant over his 25-game suspension over the offseason. So, yeah, I guess you got to get what you get when it comes to trying to acquiring over the guard position, when it comes to both sides of the ball, and Marcus Smart over his floor general ability. I guess that's an upside, but I'm questioning that because, especially if you're a Boston Celtics fan, Marcus Smart been there over the past several conference finals appearances. Marcus Smart's possibly like the Draymond Green of the Eastern Conference, or at least the heart and soul of the Boston Celtics. So it's a bit questionable, especially for Celtics fans, knowing you lose a pivotal defensive part, or at least a heart of your team that starts over in your offense and knows the system as long as Al Horford is known as has been older than prostitution. I swear to God, like that's a pivotal part of the Boston Celtics. Yeah, the Celtics have been raining to try to get over somebody over their aging front court for a long time to take the pressure off the scoring ability, but that's another possible future max contract play if Kristaps Porzingis can actually play a around at least 60 games, because we know he has a massive injury history, and just trying to still uh, just risk it at this point, only gaining so much over a veteran guard to try to possibly make a big 3 with somewhat inconsistent injury riddled big that has kind of lost his hype since he was out of the Knicks, and still trying to keep the dynamic duo of 2 all-star wings playing. And I think they also got rid of Malcolm Brogdon as well. No, I think they still keep Malcolm Brogdon. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot to get used to, especially if you're still trying to keep a relative, cohesive unit, knowing that you guys were just a game away after coming back in a 3-0 lead, pushing a Game 7 against the Miami Heat. So, what can Porzingis benefit the Celtics with, knowing how much they got to deal financially for Jaylen Brown around his contract dispute? So that's a lot to get over. We obviously are concerned because a lot of declining player options with the mainstays on certain teams. Like, of course, we know Draymond Green declined over a player option. Rokan Holmes, that had a comeback, a pretty good season around with the Sacramento Kings that did make the playoffs. Now rotational piece, now can start over at the 5 after getting traded for some future picks and a 2023 pick to the Dallas Mavericks to assist over the big man spot, hopefully to benefit, benefit and gives him added depth around the front five defensively to help out with Kyrie and Luka if they still want to give an extra run so they can actually make a full-on playoff push. And then we got Chris Paul to the Wizards for Jordan to the Warriors for Jordan Poole after Chris Paul got traded for Bradley Beal and like 20, like around like 10 second round picks, like 2024 to 2030 second round picks, 3 firsts, no 4 firsts, and 3.5 million in cash for Jordan Goodwin and Isaiah Todd. And the only upside is you got Jordan Goodwin that can actually play some added depth at the guard position. No, you got like two guards and a wing just to go for a second round upset. Like, we know how this is gonna go, guys. At least the Wizards are finally doing this. They just wanted to finesse over the back so they can actually get some capital. So it was expected that they were going to pay Beal, but if they were trying to trade, they were really trying to get some added incentive. But I feel like the Celtics actually got more of a bang for their buck than the Wizards got. Hell, even the Warriors. At least Chris Paul was actually incentivized to first-round picks. And I don't even know over his injury history and his trade market value that somehow he still got more value for a starting player than their last trade. Over 38 million. And that's after the extension over to Poole after he just got paid over a second year after screwing over the Warriors. But you really thought the Warriors were going to build around it. But I think they wanted a more clutch, more controlling guy that can discipline themselves around the secondary scoring unit. And why not one of the greatest point guards still in modern history? I get it. I understand his reputation over in the postseason, but it's always, it's always gonna be hardware that's always incentivizing a guy's quality than the guy. Chris Paul, obviously, whenever he's on an offense, it actually gradually improves like it did for the Houston Rockets. 60-win offense. One of the greatest offenses of all time with James Harden and Clint Capella. You got a lot over Trevor Ariza, PJ Tucker, Ryan Anderson. You actually had and Eric Gordon. Very good offense. Just like Chris Paul was when he was on the Thunder, actually made them a suitable playoff team even though he was with a young unit. And with the Phoenix Suns giving them an NBA Finals appearance. Sure, they came up short in a 6-game series against the Milwaukee Bucks. When Chris Paul hits, it is crazy insane. Dante DiVincenzo is possibly a free agent at this point, and I hope the Knicks really rail on him. But the Washington Wizards, at least they got, I guess, a fun player, I guess, out of Jordan Poole. Knowing like there's a lack of threats, knowing Kyle Kuzma declined over a player option. He will be a free agent this offseason. Porzingis is on the Boston Celtics. Bradley Beal is on the Phoenix Suns. Both players, including Kuzma, possible playoff contenders around the offseason. While the Wizards now got Tyus Jones. Kisser. They still got Daniel Gofford, and Adivisa. So, a lot of unproven commodities with one max contract player that came from a completely different team. Hopefully Jordan Poole can improve his game and actually discipline himself so that can actually go somewhere and actually develop. But guys, it's only been over 24 hours. Under 24 hours since the NBA draft. So, a lot of things could happen. And don't get me wrong, there will be coverage around this offseason, around the NBA draft. Knowing how much was just done in such a short period of time, bro, it's insane. So don't get me wrong, we will be covering this around the channel because we know that you fans want to see what the young generation is going to do around this season, especially Victor Wembanyama coverage. Of course, we still got Zion Williamson coverage, John Morant coverage. So a lot of people want to know what's going to happen with the free agents, or certain players are still going to stick with certain teams because Bradley Beal been going on for a quick minute, for a whole last minute, and we still don't know what's going to happen over Kyle Kuzma, the future of Zion Williamson. Even though it's been falsely noted that he wants to leave the New Orleans Pelicans over some blackmailing involving one of the women that he impregnated. So, I mean, one of the many women he impregnated. So, you guys comment down below what you guys expect to happen around the off season. I'll get on that as soon as possible. Like, comment, and subscribe. Try to grow over this video. See we can do with a minimum of 5 to 10 subscribers. Hopefully around this week. Thanks for watching. Sidelines Productions will be back with more content.